Major PulseChain and pDAI update coming, friends. We are coming off the back of a Trump announcement of a ceasefire, and Richard Heart has done some tweets which are very cryptic, very spooky, related to pDAI, related to cash, related to dollars related to StableCoin SuperCycle. We're going to go through them with you right now. So firstly, most importantly, our nipples do remain pegged, and we're waiting for the next phase. Before we even start, it's nice to see where we are on the price chart. We are now 500x away to $1. pDAI is 0.2 cents. It went up to the Catty level and then it dropped down. If we come back up to the Richard Heart level, that's about a 2x. If we can do about a 2x from here, we clear the Richard Heart level, and then just a bit further up after that, we will clear the Maria Glitter Pants level. Okay, and then actually all the FUD's gone. We've cleared the price action, will just confirm that nothing can stop this train. So pDAI is still on its way out here. Yeah, it is a log chart. You know, if you put the linear chart, just look like it's absolute ass, just like everything else. But just want to show you, in the past, I mean, this is what pDAI's chart has done. That's literally, it goes up from here, does a massive nuclear run. And it's done that again before. Look what it looked like before. Massive nuclear run. And then here you are again, massive nuclear run. So check out these. Talk about nukes. What about nuking the non-believers? This is a believers only cycle. Let's go. So what do we have? We have right here, okay, we have Richard Heart, PulseChain founder, has gone on a tweet storm with riddles and puzzles that hint towards pDAI. So my stablecoin SuperCycle thesis is confirming. Remember, friends, earlier in literally juicy news, I spoke to you about Wyoming. So the great nation state of Wyoming, they are releasing their own stablecoin, the Wyoming dollar. And JP Mosquito is releasing their JP Morgan dogshit dollar on Coinbase chain. And China, so Matt's government, China literally said they're going to release a stablecoin as well. The ECNY. Everyone's releasing a stablecoin. Everyone. It's literally a stablecoin supercycle. Plus, I gave you the earth-shattering breaking news that Circle, who issue USDC, Circle, their share, flipped USDC's market cap. Let's actually, friends, let's play some Pumpy G music for that. Whoa! How is that possible? I'm going to show it to you again because this news is like so epically big. I mean, we can't understate it, friends. This is it. Circle, 62 billion. It flipped USDC. How the hell? Because USDC, it earns no yield. It just earns yield for them, but it's just earning yield, bro. You're only earning like, what is it, like 100 or 150 million a year, but you're valued at 65 billion. Good. The market's trying to tell us something. It's trying to tell us there's something big with these stable coins that you and I, we can't see it right now. Okay? So this is the most important picture of all. Confirming the nipples do remain pegged. Here's Richard on the right. pDAI. Cute text, cute logo, begging for a pegging. We're going straight for it. So Richard Heart, friends, he signaled that the crypto bottom is pretty much in. This is how, what he usually does is when things come in, he talks a lot during the bottom of these things, okay? And it's right around the Trump ceasefire with Iran. Not Iran, okay? Not to be confused. He also retweeted his old $1 bill image, which is now used as the template for the pDAI Telegram buy bot. That's wild. We're going to go through these threads and stuff later on, but this is it. He retweeted his tweet from 2020, March, zombie virus. Let's go on through. Let's actually check out that thread now while we're here. So this is it. Oh, look, I was right again. So his tweet back then, nations should always circulate physical cash. Cash is a national security requirement for the function of society during disasters, man-made and otherwise. Your card will not work. Cash is a human rights issue for those who are underbanked, unbanked, or value their privacy. Whoa! I want you to think about these words. Underbanked, unbanked, value their privacy. Underbanked might mean, guess what? Maybe you get access to a bank account. They won't give you any yield. Interesting. Maybe you can't get a loan. Maybe you're over-collateralized. You can't get it because you're in a country. DeFi will let you do that, by the way. DeFi doesn't check any of that. Now, you got to be over-collateralized, but still, we're on the path there, right? What about the next word? Unbanked. Literally people who don't have access to the bank account. Many parts of the world out there. Iran, friends, not Iran. Iran. Why are they getting air-stricken? There's no R-child central bank there. Okay? They don't have US dollary doonies. Hey, have you ever seen that picture, friends? You'll see it circulating around. Every single country that it doesn't have a R-child, basically the lizards, the lizard people. Any country that doesn't have their bank in their country, you get invaded. Okay? And we're up to like nation number 8 now. State number 8 or whatever. Okay? Look at this, friends. So if you're unbanked, just to let you know, if you hold a stable coin, so if you have a crypto account, if you have a USDC right now in there, you are now banked. You have a dollar. You have access to the dollar and you hold it. Okay? But the thing is, there's a blacklist function on it. Okay? So that is the product market fit dream of pDAI. It's unstable right now. We don't know how it's going to work. We don't know how it's going to peg. I don't know any of this. Okay? I'm just a believer who pegs his own nipples. Yes? It's very, very clear. So if this thing was to get to a dollary doonie and there's no blacklist function, okay, which there isn't, what that actually means is we actually have a true nation on the internet without a blacklist function that is linked to the real world dollar for dollar. And there's no dollars in the bank account if they can actually get this to happen. Wow. That's why the potential of this is huge and no one else is doing it. Nobody else is doing it, friends. We have estrogen DAI, which is eDAI. But see, zombie virus, friends, when Richard posted this, see, March 2020, okay, you can actually check out what happened to DAI during that time. I'll show it to you now. So eDAI, estrogen DAI, because of the extreme volatility of zombie virus, right, during that period of time, here you go. Look what happened. In March, eDAI actually went up to $1.05, $1.10. So why did it actually go higher? It's because the demand for it was so big, because Ethereum's value was dropping so fast. People had to they were willing to buy DAI at any price. They were selling everything just to get their DAI, and they're smacking it up just so they could grab it and then pay off their loan. Okay, because they had borrowed that money. They had to pay it back. But this is, I guess, the dream. But what ended up happening is after this point, MakerDAO, so the guys who make, that's what's called Maker. You make the dollary doonie, right? Maker, they voted in, they go, okay, we've got to put USDC in the collateral now to stabilize it. So what backs eDAI? 40% of it is USDC. USDC, like I just mentioned for you, they're minted by Circle. It's a blacklist function, US dollar, okay? Which means they can turn you off at any moment. They don't like you, see ya. No court process, no judicial process, nothing. Okay, I've actually replied here. We need a native decentralized stablecoin without a blacklist function, don't we, friends? Yes, we do. Okay, whoa, those are the dollars. So that's why I've got to remind you, these puzzles, are they puzzles? Here, friends, this is where the US dollar came. It was the HEX dollar, back when HEX used to pump instead of go down 99%. See this? This is back in those days. Actually, just let's go back to these days of, just so everyone can reminisce about something that happened 5 years ago. So when he posted it, it was March. Oh, wow. Hadn't actually pumped yet. There you go. And it went up, wow, 15x. It went 15x from that point. Do you want to know why I put this box? That was day one adoption amplifier break even. I put that box here. So yeah, it came back to break even for Evan. And then it went sideways for another year. And then everyone actually finally made money. So interesting story from that moment. Actually, while we're here, let's actually check the return. What HEX did from here to the top. Okay, from when Richard did that post in March, right here, from there up to the very, very, very top, HEX did a 1,820x return, 1,800x. So, if you put in $100, right, at the top you had $180,000. Wow, man. If you put $100. Wow, man. So if you put, $2,000, you had 3.6 million at the top. Bonkers. So let's continue the friendship. All right. So Richard in that picture, right? He has retweeted his old $1 image. It's now used as a template. Okay. So that's what it is now, friends. This is it. This is it. I'll show you, right? That was the Richard Hart dollar. But after, so what happens is Richard did the pDAI stupid, it's dumb, 33 times, tweets about it 33 times in that month. The community, I guess they just decided to remove his face. They go, okay, you're not the face of it. And they just default put me, which is funny. I just woke up seeing here. It's kind of fun. This is it, the pDAI, the $1. That's whenever there's a buy bot, whenever there's a big buy comes in, it's literally, it's the heart of any meme crypto altcoin community is seeing that buy bot. Now, it doesn't just stop there, okay? We got to play some music. It doesn't stop there. It gets actually juicier. So Richard made a tweet about Spark Protocol, right? And its airdrop. So you got to remember, I made videos for this many times for you. Highest value content in crypto. PulseChain was specifically timed to be launched with the snapshot right after Spark Protocol launched on Ethereum. Okay, so if you go back to 2023, I remember showing you. Let's actually go back to the point in time. Let's check it out here. This is Ethereum daily chart. So I'm trying to remember the exact time. So here we are in May, friends. See May, Y. This is 2023. Now, right here, if you go to May 11th, here you go, Tuesday, May 9, and then you have May 11th, and then PulseChain launched on the 13th. You see that? So pretty much right here. So this is literally happened, okay, because it's a CME, they don't have it here. So there's basically those May 9, May 11, May 13. May 9, I think Spark Protocol launched, okay? They launched it. 2 days later, we take the snapshot. Immediately. 2 days later, PulseChain's launched. Okay? You see that right here. So it depends, friends. It depends. Do you think this is a coincidence? Do you think it's just a coincidence that on May 9, right here, Tuesday, May 9, Spark Protocol launches, okay? And then 2 days later, Richard takes the snapshot. And what we can do, friends, is let's actually put a cute camera, a flashy camera emoji. So Richard takes a snapshot here. That's a cute thing. So Spark launches there. There's a snapshot. And then literally, I know this says 15, but it's because of the CME. And then here we actually have PulseChain launch. Let's actually just do a rocket for PulseChain actually launch. Now, if you're looking at this, some people say, oh yeah, total coincidence. But you know, those people as well, they go, oh, a world virus came because a bat had sex with a Pokeball, and all the race of women's fertility rates all around the world dropped for every single woman in the world except Chinese women and Israeli women, who coincidentally, their fertility rates went up on the zombie virus or its vaccine or whatever. So, see, people look at that, they go, oh yeah, total coincidence, you know, that's okay. Some people see a kid who was literally the only, I mean, put this kid in the world Guinness record, the only kid in the world to not be on social media his whole life, buys a ladder from a store, walks, you know, a couple of miles to a Trump rally, gets on an open roof, points a gun at him, and fires off. Okay. And then when investigators, right, will go to check his house, he's such a good citizen that before he fired off the shot to try assassinate the president, former President Trump, he went to all this effort in his own home to wipe his fingerprints and clean all silverware and actually take out the trash. Okay. And vacuum the roof too. That was amazing. He did all of this right before he went on his little, you know, his evil journey to assassinate the president. So people see that and go, oh yeah, total coincidence. That's totally coincidence. Okay, blue pill cucks. Of course, you believe stuff like that. You know what I mean? So there's many things, fans. Like you go through life, 70% of population, total blue pill cucks. Blue pilled, you know, you're like, you are guy number 948 for the Bonnie Blue line. And, you know, friends, we love and appreciate the Bonnie Blue Maxis, okay? She has a strong community and stuff out here. I'm just telling you, like, you know, your guy number 947. You know what I mean? Like, try to be 147, you know, or maybe 150. But 947, come on, man. You know? So I'm seeing these, okay? And that's why when pDAI, that's why I still hold it, right? I'm seeing these and I don't see it as a coincidence. So the spark gets released, we take a snapshot, and then we launch. And then you think, okay, does it get any more juicy than that? Yeah, it does. Because right at this moment as well, somewhere here, pDAI gets minted on PulseChain. So the Vietnamese kid, this is the Vietnamese kid, alleged Vietnamese kid, which we know is a freaking meme itself now. The Vietnamese kid, that's why the only way for him to do that was he had deception level 100 and coercion level 100. He spoke to Richard, pretending to be a Vietnamese babe, got him to install feetpics.exe on his computer, and somehow went in, and instead of robbing the guy, he decided to connect to PulseChain before it was launched on mainnet, and he decided to mint pDAI because, you know what I mean, he's that much of a visionary. So if you're a blue pill cuck, you believe that. You genuinely believe that. I don't believe that. I think there's something wrong with the story. I think there's a lot of holes in the story, and I don't need to know the story. So that's why I still continue to hold and believe. So remember, friends, this is me explaining it. Spark Protocol released sDAI, right? So what is sDAI? Remember, Spark Protocol, sDAI it's an upgrade of MakerDAO. So now if you can hold DAI in your wallet, you hold sDAI, it automatically earns yield from the protocol and its fees. So MakerDAO, how do you use it? You put money in, you put like Ethereum deposits in. Let's say you put $100,000. You can borrow up to whatever it is, like $300,000. Sorry, $30,000 of it. You could borrow 0.3x. Okay, so you have to be over collateralized because it's crypto, yeah. Because it has to be done by code. You can't chase people up for money and stuff. Okay, so when you borrow, there's a borrowing rate, yeah, and part of the borrowing rate, you pay a fee, which goes to just people holding sDAI. And I think actually this helps reinforce the peg too by people holding and believing in it. So if pDAI is to succeed, that might be a clue. And, I mean, like, there's so many ands. Not only was pDAI the first logo on PulseX, okay, it was the only logo on PulseX when it first launched. Not only that, but also Richard Hart himself used the PulseChain Sacrifice Treasury, and he actually bought 600 million pDAI. He used the $600 million of Ethereum funds from the PulseChain Sac Treasury, and he held sDAI, and he tested it, and it worked. So once again, there are people who, they see that as a total coincidence. A lot of people, and by the way, friends, there are people still in PulseChain community, when any of the PulseChain Treasury Sacrifice use, I ask if it's like, remember, we're on the same team, but I'm just going to ask you, like, when you talk to your friends and family, if you see the PulseChain Sacrifice Treasury wallet moving, or you see the origin address move hex stakes, okay, do you tell your friends and family a 3-minute word salad? You go, this may or may not be related to somebody who may or may not know Richard Hart, who may or may not be a religious priest out there. Do you give him the 3-minute speech, or do you just say it's Richard? Okay, be honest. Okay, if you just say it's Richard, okay, that's what you really think. So your private, personal persona, that's what you really like, okay? And what you're just saying out there with word salad stuff out here, you're basically just parroting, I guess, his defensive mechanism thing out here, where he's like, yeah, may or may not be things out here, which is okay to do that if you're just going to parrot things out here. But I'm here to make investment decisions. I'm here to make decisions for the future, not really to cater to like strangers on the internet who literally you don't know who they are. Most of them faceless. Most of them don't give a shit about you anyway. Like, I'm not here to cater with them and like how people's feelings are going to be, whether you use certain words, may or must. So I guess it's a different approach out here. I'll tell you one thing right now. Only one of those two approaches is actually conducive for a successful investing career. So here is the pDAI Telegram bot image with the logo, friends, right here. So I just want to show you. Remember I told you that the pDAI $1, remember that Richard Hart just retweeted out here. Also, here's Pikachu having a very, very good morning to you, Pikachu, out here. I think we've got to play some Pikachu Cranky G music. Let's get it, friends. We've got to crank it. You know, Pikachu must be watching TV. He's got a remote controller there. It's kind of funny how times have changed now. We used to watch all the cartoons and stuff on TV. Now, I'm just straight YouTube. Everything's YouTube. Everything, friends. Everything is straight YouTube. TikTok, too much brain rot stuff. It's literally, TikTok is literally, I have nothing else to do with my life. That's what it is. YouTube, there is some of that, but also YouTube is, I want to learn. I want to absorb something. Now, you can absorb, you know, waste of time, or you can absorb highest value content in crypto, and you just learn and learn and learn and learn. And people actually, it's amazing, friends, with YouTube as well. You basically pick the path you want to learn. It's like choose your own adventure of learning, because you can watch other people do stuff. Like what I love on YouTube is like, I watch someone just going through a tutorial of how to use something. So then when I go use a platform, they show me where everything is. It's amazing to see that. So there might be people as well in the future, they come out, their lives are changed from crypto and YouTube, all because of this. Because remember, friends, even during 2021, crypto was like, they tried to ban crypto off like many of these social media websites. It was like, it got really tough. But luckily, we've got code words for that. So pDAI, right? pDAI. Here's the PulseChain logo. Some say it is modeled after the stable coin potential peg path. Beep, 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 beep. I just looked at the eDAI chart that I showed you earlier, right? This is as well, the next chart is going to be, this is the pDAI price chart. Remember, this pDAI USD. This is where the gravestone emoji was. Everyone said it was dead again. Remember, gotta remind you again, pDAI went to zero twice. That's 2 times it went to zero, okay? Twice. So, yes, it can go to zero for a 3rd time. All of this can be a total frame, total dream, total fugazi. It could be a holographic representation of what an altcoin is meant to be. It could be that, and it could all be fake, okay? So, you have to think about your risk on this stuff. So, you never bet more than you can afford to lose. A collection of dollar bill images showing the Richard Heart reference. Remember, friends, so put all this together, yeah? Richard Heart, his actions, okay? He timed PulseChain around the Spark, which is the sDAI, related to DAI, related to a stable coin, you see? He's now tweeted against Spark, on Spark. He literally just tweeted about its airdrop. They're giving people an airdrop. He also, thank you to Mr. Dirty Crypto, uploaded this video. This gentleman, his username is Hexonaut. He is one of the engineers of MakerDAO. Okay? Literally. One of the engineers. Remember we played with that video for you a while ago? So his username is Hexonaut. Okay, so that's why I guess like let's read between the lines here. Friends, it could be that like people involved in MakerDAO and this stuff, friends, it's very, I can't tell you how sensitive this stuff is. This is red alert, very sensitive. You can't show your face. You build it, there's no blacklist function, you walk away. That's it. Okay? Just like Bitcoin, friends. Bitcoin's got no blacklist function, Bitcoin's got no admin keys. Okay? Satoshi, he makes it. You know, and remember Satoshi in the first 2 years, so in the first 2 years, friends, someone on the internet, remember Satoshi, there's a engagement he replies to somebody on the forum. And one guy said, Satoshi, we have to go tell the world about your amazing invention. It's amazing. It's working. And the price was starting to moon. Okay. And then Satoshi says, no, it's way too early. Absolutely not. Don't say anything. You get it? So that these things, this is the process that they just have to go through. Once again, could go to zero. I don't know. Okay. It's just, we don't know, man. Friends, like go back to Bitcoin when it's $100. Like you don't know it's going to go to 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000. You don't know, man. It could go to zero at any point. There could be a bug. There could be a this or that, you know? Remember, friends, even AI says I am the most bearish person on pDAI in the world. Yeah, because of how many times I say it could go to zero. This thing could go to zero. Risk. I've said it so much. It literally calls me the biggest pDAI fudder. But after all of these, right, this leads me all to believe that pDAI is destined for greatness. I still have that. I still hold it. I still believe. So even more cryptically, at the same time, so Richard Heart makes a Spark protocol post. He makes the dollar post as well. He also tweets this. He says, have you read SciVive front to back? Yes, no, or what? Okay. And then in SciVive, there's this part here. Look what he said. This is posted by Dr. Hexologist. Now, Dr. Hexologist, our favorite Hooters waitress, and, you know, giving you prostate exams for free at 3 a.m. He is not pDAI believer or anything. He thinks everyone's crazy. I think he's like, I think he's neutral, just like whatever. He's all basically cuckoo. Things were cuckoo, okay? So, and he posted this. Be mysterious. Mystery is a potent form of power. Remember, this is from Richard Hart. This is Richard Hart. His quote from SciVive. And this is what Dr. Exologist, he went through the book, is like, oh, this is strange. Okay, so this is just something. So Richard's typing. Be mysterious. Mystery is a potent form of power. Think about why iconic figures like Batman or even historical icons have such an allure. They leave parts of themselves unexplained. Don't dilute your image on social media with mundane, everyday posts. Instead, let what people don't know about you speak on your behalf. Hold back a little and let their imagination fill in the gaps. When you're mysterious, you become a puzzle they're dying to solve. That's why Richard doesn't wake up and say, hey, I just farted. Or, hey, I've lost one of my socks. So you don't see him doing those types of posts. Now, friends, I'm going to give you an extremely... Let's play some Pikachu in the jungle music, because this is going to get extremely juicy. Do you remember, friends, in the PulseChain community, and pDAI in particular as well, we have a gentleman named Matt Yeater. Now, Matt, friends, I know I hate to bring it up, Matt, but I've got to learn everyone. So Matt was born blind, okay? Matt is blind, and he bought pDAI dip, and he calls everybody who doesn't buy the dip a pussy, okay? So it is funny. We make a movie of this one day. That would be like amazing. Like just imagine, bro, you got farted out, and a dude who was born blind. Like, just think about how much information we go through on Twitter. Matt, God bless you, bro. I don't know how do you do it? And by the way, look what he said. We're going to listen to what Matt said right now. He says, so this is Matt. His username is YeaterSync on Twitter. Okay. This is what he said. He says, okay, the front end that Matt, tested has a staking mechanism built in for the emergency stability module MakerDAO. But as we all know, some of those contracts are broken and they don't work. So when MakerDAO is finished being upgraded, it will support a staking mechanism for it. So I think he's referring all this with the new PulseChain MakerDAO redeployment thing, I think. Okay. Now Matt continues, but when this front end is launched, there will not be a support for the MakerDAO initially. That support will come when the upgrade for the MakerDAO is complete. Does that make sense? I mean, that is spilling the beans for you, but there's way more to it than that. There's way, way, way more to it than that. And yes, I have permission to talk about it. I just can't share the name, website, or the date. In other words, glory is coming. Okay, so I think it's basically, friends, the next phase is, I guess, remember MakerDAO? Everyone said it was dead. No, it's still alive. So something's going to happen there. I think there's another deployment of it. I think it's going to launch. Okay, I'm not touching anything, by the way. I'm not risking touching anything. I'm just, you guys would have played, let 1,000 people play, but I'm not touching anything, okay? You don't have to do anything magical. So it's going to get launched, and it will have a staking mechanism. So remember sDAI? It's ringing some bells, but here's the thing, friends. So we don't know. So let's be honest, okay? I'll speak to you heart to heart. There's random people coming in here. Like, I don't think they're scammers, of course, but like, we could always just be taken for a ride, of course, because it's just random people coming in deploying stuff, and like none of them have the Richard Hart tick of approval. You know what I mean? So that's why it's a matter of faith. That's, by the way, if it did have the Richard Hart tick of approval, pDAI's price would be like, you know, probably 10x higher. You know, it'd be like probably trading at 2 cents. Now you might say, oh, it'd be trading at $1. No, it won't. No, it won't, because people don't know how the thing could get to $1 at all, even if he was behind it. Yeah, they still wouldn't know. So like, okay, where are you going to get the $40 billion from? You know what I mean? And then you might have to say, oh, maybe I own a lot more of the coins that you think, or maybe this, or maybe that. You see what I mean? So you don't know. And by the way, just to tell you something about markets, even if he did tell you all of it, okay, it still wouldn't go to $1. Okay, trust me, I know markets. Okay, you wouldn't believe it unless Ethereum was going up. Okay, trust me on this one. It follows a cycle, so it's not as clear cut as you think. Okay, it takes time. So to fill in the gap, you need people to believe. For people to believe, you need the business cycle to go up. Okay, so this is from Matt Yeater. So I guess that's what happens next. MakerDAO is going to have a staking mechanism, but then he says there's a front end for it which will launch, but there will not be support initially. That's what he said. Initially, there won't be support. He goes, that'll come later when the upgrade is complete. I don't know what the upgrade's going to be. I don't know what the timing is. You know what I mean? So there you go. Now, you got to remember as well, baby dolls, StableCoin SuperCycle thesis. So stablecoins are an extremely profitable industry. pDAI is an unstable coin, and if it continues the journey to be stably priced around the dollar, then it would have huge ramifications for the crypto industry. So there's a clip here, but the volume is low. I'll try to see what we go.
The most profitable business I have ever seen is the stable coin.
So yeah, it is very, very low volume, but he said there, the most profitable business I've ever seen is the stable coin business. And he actually says in here as well, he goes, it's funny how they describe it. They go, you are taking money off depositors and giving them no yield. You're just giving them like $1 back, but you're just putting it on crypto wallets for them. That's literally all you're doing. This thing can't last forever, dude. It's so like basic. Anybody could do that. Anyone could do that. Hey, let me take your money and give you like $1 on the internet. That's just like literally how. Imagine, oh man, there's thousands of examples I could use, but all of them just make you look really silly. Like, imagine, okay, you own gold in America, and then someone says, hey, I will let you own your gold in the land of Italy now. Okay, so sweet. Give me your gold, and then you give them like 95% of the gold back. You keep 5%. Yeah, and you might think that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Well, that's literally stable coins. Now do you see why they're cucks? They're giving away 5% yield. Every depositor, you're a cuck. You're an actual cuck. The Tether CEO thinks Tether's worth 2 trillion market cap. But you literally do nothing except offer no yield to people. So that's why if pDAI can offer yield to people in a decentralized way, it will eat its lunch. So let's talk some charts. pDAI is 500x away to $1. It's 50x away to 10 cents. It's 25x away to 5 cents. It's 10x away to 2 cents. So this is the pDAI to Pulse ratio as well. So as you can see, friends, so pDAI 500x, 25x, I don't give a shit at this point. Like, it's so absurdly low. It's asymmetric upside. For me, I don't care. You can do what you want. I don't give a crap. Like, hey, well, you know, if pDAI right now was 20 cents, I'm like, okay, you know, the market's saying 20% chance it's going to work. But, you know, there's a great odds because you were buying them when the odds were near zero. You know, but we're not there yet, are we? And by the way, just to let you know, if pDAI did get to 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, it's not going to be with today's mystery. Okay, if you got there, you will have way more confirmation. There will be things deployed. Maybe the origin address moves. Maybe the origin address moves in. Maybe Richard Hart actually tweets a pDAI chart again. Do you see what I mean? Like, you have so much more confirmation that it won't be like, oh, there's all this mystery and we just went up. Okay, so just showing you how these things work. Things get priced in. So what comes next for pDAI? Well, I will keep holding despite not knowing what comes next. All right, that's me. Maybe there's that community-built version of MakerDAO remake, or an Aave gets deployed. There's obviously, we don't know how it's going to work. I don't know. Honestly, I don't give a shit. I didn't give a shit. Did you need to know how Bitcoin was going to end up on the US government balance sheet in 2013? Nope. Did you need to know, friends? I'm going to ask you again. Okay, I'm going to move my ear out here for you. Did you need to know how Bitcoin was going to end up on the US government balance sheet in 2013? No, thank you. No, you didn't. Okay? You did not know that there was going to be a plus token Ponzi, which then moved into the world zombie virus in 2020, which then moved into Trump basically the election stolen from him, which then moved into interest rate hikes, which then moved into Trump coming back and dodging a planned assassination bullet. And then Trump just promising to put it on there so him and the Trump family could grift $650 million out of that and launch his own meme coin and stuff out here. So you had no idea. No one had the idea how that was going to play out. No one. Did you need to know? Nope. What did you need to do to participate in the upside? You simply needed to keep your nipples pegged, buy and hold. That's it. You had to believe. It's a believer's cycle. That's it. Okay? Try to tell me I'm wrong about that. You literally need to know nothing else. Okay? Except that you like this thing, you believe, and you're holding it. That you literally didn't have to go further than that. Think about the complexities of Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum trying to flip it and all these other things and the yield and the Ponzi's, and you didn't need to know any of that. So what I say is I am still waiting patiently. I believe Ethereum breaking $5,000 will be the key to all surging altcoins. And how does it peg? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I thought I knew, but I was just guessing, bro. I didn't even really know. I never really knew. I was like, oh, maybe this is the way it could work. Maybe. I don't know. And that upsets a lot of people, by the way. And I don't give a shit. But that upsets a lot of people that I don't know. Because just get used to it, dude. If you want to win in markets, you're dealing with uncertainty. You are navigating uncertainty. We literally have no idea what happens next. Okay? But they're like, oh, but you're so confident. How do you end up going through? But you don't know. You just don't know. You just get used to it. It's a freaking TV show. Just watching it. You don't know how the movie's going to end. You know, somewhere in this Shakespearean story, someone's going to get freaking backstabbed. You just like, whatever. Just watch the movie and shut up. Now, I'm not saying that to be like, you know, a posturing alpha male of sorts. I'm just telling you, this is freaking every single time someone got loaded before in crypto or early stocks or believing in Crapple or believing in Google McDougal, it was the same shit. You just get in and that's it. You know? Oh, how are you going to make profits? Because you don't know that they're going to put like ads and stuff on the search engine back then. You had no idea. Like, I don't know, dude. Just figure it out. If we knew the exact method, by the way, the price would be higher. All right? You got to understand this about markets. If the answers are revealed, the prices is higher. Yeah, because the probability of occurrences, it gets priced in by the market. So we have a new moon on June 25th as we continue out here. Remember, friends, this is Richard Hart's tweet about Spark. Look at this. All right, remember, look at this. Because I'm more useful than you are, I'm going to once again tell you something you don't know. Something that will quite likely be worth money to you. I don't have to do this, but I'm kind of gentle soul who wants the best for you. I made DAI popular because it was a bit more censorship resistant. Because of that, many people that follow me have used DAI. Lucky you kids, airdrop claim. I wish I could keep just quiet about it and you likely would never know about it, but here I am out of kindness of my heart bringing you value again. So Spark, friends, SPRK, Spark, they're doing this thing. I think it's 30 million market cap. I saw somebody on Twitter showing that I think people were dumping it already using leverage on it got a Binance listing immediately. So it's kind of interesting just how it all works out here. And this is the Mr. Dirty Crypto's post. So,
and we're actually also looking at Euler V1 as well. And so
this is the dude. His name's Sam McPherson. He's Mr. Hexonaut, former MakerDAO protocol engineering. Okay, look at this, contributing to Spark protocol engineering. So, look, we've told you thousands of times, friends. I don't know what's going on. No one does. But this is how it has to be. It just has to be. You just let this out into the universe. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Hopefully it works. We all want it to work. And yeah, and remember even after all these, okay, I've given you this whole juicy thesis update, but you gotta remember, like, I ask myself a simple question. This is how I was able to figure stuff out. I said, forget doing this. Forget what, or could it do it? Could you do it? No. Forget all that. Okay. Forget peg and collateral money. Useless at the start. Think about why. Why would you do this? Think about why. That's what you got to think about. The why. If you can figure out the why, go, why would somebody be incentivized to do this? Don't know all the answers, but some thoughts I can share with you. Remember, crypto has $1 trillion problem. And the $1 trillion problem is that when our freaking 3.5, 4-year bear market, dog shit, hell's times of doom appear, when they appear, friends, everybody leaves. Okay? Everybody leaves all the risk on assets in crypto. Completely. They want to hold stablecoins in a bear market. Okay? So now you can think, okay, so there's an incentive for someone who has an ecosystem who wants to keep people in the ecosystem if they had a stablecoin for it. But then you might ask, okay, why not just go release a stablecoin another way? Well, you can't do it with the banks because they have the evil genius Stablecoin Act bill where they prevent you from earning out yield. So you can't do that anyway. So then if you did that, what a waste of time. You know, friends, you know if Richard tried to make his bank and like tried to get a stablecoin with a bank or anybody else did that, you're literally made illegal, you know, with this stablecoin bill. You can't hand out yield. You're now fully regulated and controlled. And you have a blacklist function. They order you. If they order you, you have to freeze that account. You got to do it. No questions asked. Okay, so there you go. Imagine you've been working for 4 years on getting a bank and doing a stable coin. There you go. Useless. Wasted 4 years of your life. Okay. So, but then people might say, Somi, why doesn't Richard Ha just deploy a MakerDAO, start fresh and do it like that? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I just look. I said I don't know, but I kind of do know. All right, but I don't know. I haven't thought about it enough with the new whole, yeah. But what I told you that, so if you want the answers to this, and but I'm just guessing, dude. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Okay, I made a video last year. It was Eric Wall's interpretation of pDAI. So what I did is I looked at pDAI through the lens of Eric Wall, right? You know, like spicy, negative, critical, in the next bear market. And I wanted to imagine that Eric could finally see it happening and he's now coping because it went up without him. And he's trying to think, why did this occur? And I don't know why. I just reached and I grabbed for this answer where I believe that Eric would look at it and go, oh, I see what Richard did. I see what the real magic trick was. That's what I think it was. And the real magic trick is he knows he's going to use the collateral to peg it. Only he knows. Okay. So what he's able to do is effectively buy $1 for peanuts down here the whole way. Okay. So I'm going to show you the whole chart. So think a bit about what this means. Okay. So I'll just show you this. This is the pDAI chart, USD. So down here. So he inflates the supply and he gets to accumulate. Why would you accumulate it? Because you have an informational edge. You know that you will use the collateral to peg this at $1 in the future, right? That's why you will do it. You get to buy $1 for a penny. It's kind of funny. pDAI is still less than a penny. It's 500x away to $1 right now. So actually, even if you know this now, you still get a 500x. It's just like, okay, someone else got a 5,000x or 50,000x. Doesn't really matter. It's still 500x is still huge, okay? That is what my conclusion was. Because he still benefits from it. He gets to hold a lot of the pDAI and he gets to peg it and then he gets to control how the movement of the money gets used, right? What's the alternative though if we're wrong about this? If we're wrong, the PulseChain core coins, okay, simply get money rotated from the Ethereum sacrifice treasury. But as we've seen, every time that happens, you get dumped on. All right? You get dumped on by everyone. So that's why a lot of people in the community, not a lot, I should say it is a lot. Almost all of you actually, I don't even have to name names, literally every single one of you, all you guys have a wet dream that Richard, who you think is retardio, is going to rotate the Ethereum funds, all of them, and is going to buy up your bags, and you're going to, I know what you're going to do. You're going to click sell, you're going to walk away before that bear market starts, okay? Now, if me wearing a begging for a pegging mud flap hat like this, with a pDAI logo, a man who pegs his own nipples, if a retardio peanut brain like me can see it, what do you think Richard's thinking? Do you think Richard is like saying, yes, oh, my community is playing chess against me. I'm going to play checkers and just rotate the money in. But then you might say as well, how do we know Richard's not dumping from his wallets? You could say that as well. You could say that, but he's not going to dump from the OA. Okay, so that's what I've shown you. What I've just gone through now, friends, this is the real climax of everything. So you go down deep, like before you even ask, could you do it? Like, why would you do this? This is why you do it. Now, what I've just said is very controversial. It's very controversial. Why? Because Hexicans grew up on Warlord Richard on stream, telling them everything to their face, saying, trust me, don't deviate. If I'm going to tell you something, I'll tell you something. There's no riddles. There's no mysteries. Forget everything else. Listen to me. Watch me. That's what they grew up on, which I'll show you now. Richard Hart, 2020 and 2021 streaming. Okay. This is what they grew up on, friends. They grew up on him on stream saying, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Everything's going to be amazing. The sacrifice, we're going to be amazing. That's what they grew up on. Okay. So look at that face. Okay. So that's what I'm saying is considered blasphemy to them. They're like, oh, how dare you insinuate our dear cult leader would do something without telling us first? You know what I say to you, man? You're about to get mogged. Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you soon.